program. We call that our before the door strategies. And so I'm pretty proud of that. One of the things on here, our owner return in the field reflects on here, only a few. We're going to change that. What that has been, return in the field has been, if an officer picked a dog up, it got on the truck. They had put it on the truck, and then we ended up figuring out who owned it, and we returned it before we brought it in. That was our return owner in field. We're going to modify that now because we've got a number here we're not capturing, and that is, we get out. The other night we had a dog bite. Nobody knew whose dog it was. Corey went over there, figured out where the dog lived. The people were out. He said, you need to get your dog, and they went out and got their dog, and they brought it back. That should count as a return in the field, because we would have stayed out and eventually got that dog and brought it back. But because we're making that contact, I want y'all to know that we're doing, I feel like we're doing a better job of getting those back to people. Our adoptions have slowed some. I think that is a trend everywhere. That's not just us. I talked to directors in other counties and even directors across the nation. They're seeing kind of the same trends. We're trying to be as creative as we can. We're doing a lot of marketing. If y'all follow us on Facebook, we've got a lot happening. We have a fantastic volunteer that does a lot of marketing for us. Our PEG channel films for us when they can. We've got a regular spot on Channel 2 now where we are featuring a dog at noon at least once a month. I'm going tomorrow for another feature. That'll be twice in 2 weeks. So, and those spots really help. I noticed today that we topped 3,000 on our following on Facebook. We didn't start Facebook until I had been here a few weeks, and Lauren actually helped me start that, and I'm pretty proud of that number. I think those folks are doing a really good job for us. So rescues have stopped pulling. We're not getting the numbers out to rescues like we were getting before. We are trying to be creative. We've made some good deals with Agape, and the Retrieving Independence is working out very well. Someone I talked to you about last time, the dogs are going into the state prison system, getting trained, and then they don't come back. That group adopts those dogs out or gets those to people after that. So that's a one-way street for us. Works out really well. They have been very supportive, and we're hoping to see that program expand. I'd like to get it to the point where we're sending them 5 or 6 dogs a month. We're not quite there yet, but they're very happy with us at this point, and so I think that will continue. So do you want me to talk about upcoming events, or do you want to accept the report, or what do you want me to do at this point?
Whatever.
I can keep going and talk about that.
Yeah, do you want to finish everything and then
Yeah.
we'll accept, or do you want us to, we can accept these reports if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah,
Motion.
Second.
okay. All those in favor? Aye. All right, so we've accepted the director's reports.
Upcoming, October is National Adopt a Shelter Dog Month, and so we're going to see lots of social media stuff. I mention this only because I know Peg is broadcasting this, and I want people to watch this, to like and share on Facebook, follow us on Facebook, get the word out. We'll be doing some specials, we'll be doing some adoption events. We've got a lot of things planned for the month, and you'll see a lot of that go out on social media. I want to talk a little bit about another thing that we've come up here with. When I started, and we started doing social media, someone approached, I think, Commissioner Breeze on Facebook, and at the same time, someone else approached me on Facebook and said they had seen a story about a chip scanning station, said this is a great idea, we should do this. So Commissioner Breeze got them with me, and the other person, we all got together, we kind of pulled our resources and we designed one, and so I want to show you what we're doing. We've got 4 of these stations made, and they're going to go to WEMA stations around the county. So we're going to have one at Lakeview, we're going to have one in Watertown, Gladeville, and 231 North here at the edge of Lebanon. So they're for Wilson County residents, but people in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, wherever, that have lost a dog or found a dog, they can take a dog to this chip scanner station 24/7, and they can scan the dog for a chip. On On the sign is a QR code. All they have to do is scan the QR code, put in the chip information, it will tell them or give them information on how to figure out who owns that dog. So what is great about this is it cuts us out of it, okay? If this dog has a chip and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, we're not coming out, okay? People get frustrated, but we can't respond to that kind of call. We don't have that kind of overtime money. So they can get that dog back to the owner and cut us out of the equation. A lot of times what people do, they don't want to bring it to animal control. They want to go to their veterinarian, and so they have to wait till the next day, find a vet that can do it. Sometimes a vet charges, I don't think any of ours locally do, but some of them in Nashville do. And then they go through that process. So this just helps folks out. It was pretty easy to put together, especially since I had a volunteer do most of the work. And I want to recognize her. Susan Morris is here with us tonight. She's a volunteer for Friends of Wilson County Animal Control, and she's a big help. So I said, I like this sign. I showed her a picture of it, and she brought me one. She brought this exact thing to me with our logo and all that stuff on there. I didn't have to do any work on that. She did all that for me. Then she got it to the sign company, and when they brought back the cost of it, I said, oh, that's way too much. She went back to the sign company and said, that's way too much. And so we got all this done at a bargain price. I put this stuff together, and it is a kind of a neat little device. So it keeps an honest person honest. You just hit the power button and then scan the dog. There's directions on how to do it. The chip number will pop up, and then they just follow the directions that are on here. There's also our phone number, what to do with the dog. The fact that it is okay, Tennessee law, for them to keep the dog overnight if they want to. They're not breaking the law. They're following everything they need to do. It says on here, do not request assistance from WEMA personnel. So our goal is that they don't knock on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, I got this dog. That's our goal. We feel like that's a good spot, just because if I say the fire station at Lakeview, people know where that's at. You don't have to give them an address or anything. It's a community stop. People know where that's at. We're pretty proud of these. You can buy these posts with the concrete blocks off Granger, and they're about $500. I bought a couple bags of concrete and did these at home on the weekends. So I don't have a future in concrete, but I feel like they turned out really well. I wanted to bring that up here and show you what our volunteer program is capable of doing. I think it's a really good asset for us, and it just helps move us towards the goals that we need and not bringing in as many into the shelter.
And when will those be there?
So tomorrow we are doing a shoot at Channel 2 at 3:30, I think, in the afternoon, and we're going to talk about them and display and tell how they work. And then after that, the last 2 days of this week, we'll be putting them together and getting them out. That's the first one together. I've got all the parts laid on my desk. I actually don't put them together until we get them in the field, because I'm afraid I'll break them all to pieces. So, but we've got everything ready to go, and so we will put them out.
So next week we start sharing the information that they're there.
We will, yeah, as we're doing it, we'll document that, and we'll be putting it out, and we'll do post over and over again to try to get that out as much as we can. So yeah, just look it up on Facebook, you'll see a lot of it come out. Let's see here. So a lot of people played a part in this too. Our IT guys helped us with the QR codes, getting those things in, so we know that. Of course, WEMA agreed to give us a spot and be patient with us, because there's probably going to be a bump in the road somewhere there, but we'll do whatever we got to do. We tried to make them movable, so if they ended up in a bad place and we needed to move them, we could. We just had to have a couple big firefighters to move them. Any questions on those?
No, thank you for putting everything together, and thank you to Susan and all the players who actually put these together. I think that's a great project, and I think it's really going to be a great asset for our community. So
Yeah, I like it.
you're
We're
very
proud of that
appreciated.
one.
So yes.
Okay. Next thing is the,
Okay, all right. Well, I think the next thing on the agenda is actually the surplus list, so you should have a surplus list in your hand.
So there's some things here that guys, I've not done this before, and so there's a projector with a mount on the back. This was something that was installed in the new building, used to belong to Rhodes. It didn't have an asset tag on it. I was gonna put it in the auction. I called Aaron at IT and he said, no, bring it back, we'll use it. So it's on the list, but that's gonna go back to IT. I just wanted to put it on here. The other one, there are a couple things that are broken on here and we're just gonna throw away. There is an Emerson TV on here that Rhodes left for me. I'm guessing they couldn't get it down. It's an old tube style TV. It probably weighs 1,000 pounds. So I don't think that's worth carrying to the auction, so that's probably gonna go in the trash. But other than that, I think most everything else. You see, there is a couple of slide-in pickup truck boxes and a truck mount pickup truck box. That's a very old unit. The company is not in business anymore. We can't reuse that unit. The one unit we have on the older truck, we will reuse that next time we buy a new truck. But this is an old unit that y'all probably, if you've been out there, probably haven't seen. It was back in the weeds. We just need to get it out of there.
All right, can I entertain-
Motion to approve.
All right, you have a second? I'll second, yeah. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. So, all right, so the next thing, there should have two budget amendments in your hand. So the first one is the final piece of, the building project. So this is to allocate $3 million from Fund 189, to be able to actually do the construction project, and this would allow, the money to be put in a spendable line, at which point Steve can bid out the project, and the project he won't go forward unless it's $3 million or less. So if you want, I don't know if you want to talk about the bidding process.
So here's where we're at. The plans are done. Excuse me. Engineers have done all their studies. The city has approved our plan and our site plan and our water drainage plan and all the other 50 plans you have to submit. All that part is done. And that's a process. The architect engineer on this paid a local construction company to give them a realistic estimate so we would know what market price was and know where we were at. We are right at the top of our budget. So we talked about whether we should move forward or whether we should, should shave some things off, what we should do. So the engineer we've made an agreement with him, our architect we've made an agreement with him that should we go over and we need to redraw, let's just say we need to cut it down just a little bit, we have to do something to make it cheaper, that he will redraw for free. So, and we've got that in writing. Also, we went back after last week's meeting and we kind of restructured our instructions on how to bid and how to build for the construction companies, and we gave them some alternatives to be able to get things a little bit cheaper. We're looking at what city codes requires on a couple of plumbing things. There are some expensive items that are kind of nationally recognized as something you have to put in. It's kind of the top end of things. They are investigating with the city whether or not we have to do some of those things. If we can cut some of that down, it's going to save a little bit of money. Long and short of it is we were right at our budget. And so the consensus in the meeting was, let's put it out to bid, and if everything comes back over budget, we just have to stop, we have to fix it and go back. But they were fairly confident that we were going to be within budget and they wanted to move forward, and I think it's the thing to do. I think we're getting a good deal on things, but folks, things are expensive. And it's kind of fluid. The market is different than it was a few years ago. A few years ago, you could look at a square footage cost on a building and say, this is what it's going to cost to build, and you could be pretty close. That changes monthly now, and so it is difficult to get those exact numbers. That's why we've done it the way we've done it. It is very important to me that we don't go over, because I preach that number the whole time. So I feel like we're doing the right thing, and obviously if we don't get the bids back within what we want, we will back up and punch. It will cost the city money and just cost us time.
And just kind of as a reminder, we did this slightly differently than the way we've normally done building projects. So we did this kind of in stages. So we've already paid for the building itself, so this is the last piece.
Right.
And this is what was always discussed, was a $3 million amount. And I double checked with Aaron today. And unassigned fund balance for 189 currently is $14.8 million. So there's room to allocate the 3 million, and that way it's in a spendable line, at which point, once the bids come in, if they come up with a low bid that's about 3 million, then if we approve it at the commission level, then he can just move forward. So that's kind of why we try to do it this way, is I think strategically it works better this way, so we don't have to wait.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, any conversation or discussion? No? All right, all those in favor? All right. And then last thing, I believe, is budget amendment to move funds from the Gretchen Wilson Fund for animal care. Do you wanna speak to
We
this?
have had an expensive month. We had to do a search warrant to take dogs. The person had been hospitalized, and I don't know exactly what was wrong with them, but they were incoherent. There was no family to be found. Sheriff's Department worked on it, we worked on it. We fed the dogs through a window all weekend long. We could not leave them there any longer. We got a search warrant, took the dogs. There was a cat in the house that was injured. We had to get it in. It's somebody else's property. I don't have a choice. We had to get it in and get it worked on. I wish Dr. McAteer was here because I would compliment him, because he did that one for free. And it was greatly appreciated. But we had a couple others. I don't know if you've seen this story on the dog that was shot. We did that. Gretchen Wilson donated this money for that purpose. So it's not taxpayer money. We got a good deal. We price around the veterinarians, and I think they hate to see us coming because we beat them down on price every time. But just know that we're spending that money as responsibly as we can. But so that's what that's for, and this is something we normally do. We're just gonna replenish that line with money we've spent this year.
Motion to approve.
Okay, great. Any questions or conversation? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. All right. So at this point, do we have any old business in the committee? Any new business? All right, maybe we just need one more motion.
Motion.
Adjourn. Great.